Going to make this video about the years mid-year 2018 to mid-year 2019. Try to do everything in one take, keep everything evidence-based. I used to have evidence on this period. My iPhone was hacked, as all my technology is always hacked. Phones were deleted in the middle of the night, and they've also just been killed outright. Maybe they mess with the power system, they kill them off. So, in saying that my technology gets hacked, this is my old 15-year-old digital camera. They can turn it off. Anything Wi-Fi accessible, they can manipulate. So it's going to be a few takes. This is about when I realised the start of electronic harassment and mind hacking. It didn't confuse me like it did to, I'm sure many people have had mental breakdowns the instant that it happens. I knew what was going on straight away. What started happening was I used to watch a lot of YouTube movies, I used to play a lot of games online, and I'd lay on my bed with my laptop right over my navel. If you don't believe in energy and chakras and those sorts of things, well, that's unfortunate for you, because it's a whole different spectrum of technology that they're using against us. So I had this laptop with Wi-Fi connected over my navel, which was the gateway to energy coming in. That's why they say any medicine man for whatever tribe, he'll tell you that if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel like you're under spiritual attack, to cover your navel with your hand, always the left hand, never the right. Anyway, back onto the topic, playing games. I started to feel sensations. I started to feel something creeping in through my stomach. Then I started to feel artificial rape sensations, and those have been compulsory and non-stop and brutal for the last 8 years. Cost me just about every job, every relationship, every memorable experience with family and loved ones since 2015, and even a little bit before. Through my Wi-Fi device over my navel, they've managed to completely intercept, completely control my frequency. In 2018 in winter, I started work in a construction project at Barry Drive in Canberra. It was the ANU apartment complex. There were 2 7-storey towers. My job was building the balustrades on some 1,000 rooms. I was there for 2 months in the middle of winter. Didn't take me long to realise something was wrong with this job when you'd see 50 Australian tradies talking brickies and carpenters that were scared and timid. Like, these are rough blokes, they shouldn't be scared and timid. Then out of nowhere, these 50 to 100 Chinese plasterers, the shittest of the shit trades, they wander in blasting their Hello Kitty bubblegum pop bullshit through their radios at full volume, like at 100 decibels, pissing everyone off. And I don't take that sort of shit. I've been in construction since I was 12. And then I started realising a few days later, I already picked a fight with them before that, told them to turn it off, and then they started to try to mad dog me, but Chinese are all about bluffs, they never do anything. A few days later we started to realise that our Makita batteries were being replaced. They would just take a 5 amp battery of someone's off the charger and replace it with a 1.5 amp battery. Now that battery was never seen again. And that was pretty shitty, but I used AEG, so it didn't affect me, so I ignored it. I kept on with my work, and one day I came back from lunch. There was plaster. My tools, which $8,000 worth of tools in my room that I was working in, slathered with plaster. So and my balcony had a pool of plaster on top of it. So I walked up, I grabbed one of their scrapers. The Chinese were all on lunch. I scraped the plaster off my balcony. I walked up to their gyprock and I just fucking ninja starred their plaster scraper into their gyprock. And then it really kicked off. We were having Chinese people walking around in gangs and trying to be mischievous and all smoke and mirrors. They're all they all watch too many movies. But what they were doing that was really, really horrible is they were spraying me with a squirt bottle. At first I thought I was paranoid, but I wasn't, because visibly saw somebody one day with a hazmat suit on, rubber gloves and goggles, standing in the balcony above mine as I was working on a balustrade, spraying me with something wet. I got sick 5 times in the 2-month period that I was working there. I was sick for a week. I would end up laying in a hot bath, flushing it out with rum, eating a good dinner, sleeping 10 hours every single night, and still going to work sick the next day. Got threats from the CSIRO building we're working in opposite the 2 towers on Barry Drive. Chinese senior was walking along up and down the bridge of the lunchroom to the exhibition room with a neck tag on that said visitor, walking up and down with his hands behind his back, all prestigious, looking at all the Australian tradesmen. I stood up and I looked at him and I went like that. I went back to my workstation. There was a garrote. That's a piece of high tensile spring steel wire wrapped around 2 handles. You pull like this, you go over somebody's neck and you go like that, and you can cut their throat by zigzagging it, or you can strangle them out. You can choke them out instantly. It's a super deadly weapon. I don't actually think that they were trying to kill me, but it was a threat. I took a picture of that. I sent it to Crime Stoppers. So this went on for ages. We were dealing with this. Then I never stood down, and I realised when I didn't stand down, the Chinese got a little bit less confident and the Australians got a little bit more confident. Then there was one day, I was on the 2nd floor, I was all alone, and I could hear them creeping around. Because the commies, they're a kind of a mafia system where anybody can be involved. So none of them have any expertise behind them. They all just go, let's do it. It's very easy to pick up on what they're doing. They're stupid. It's saying that it's also bad because they're so stupid and so immediate with their conniving bullshit. You can never quite tell the extent they're going to go into when they're trying to pull some kind of attack on you. I was in the 2nd story of the west building, and one of them tapped on a wall. Could hear them walking by. Could hear footsteps, and they say there's 3 modes when you get into this situation. It's fight, flight, or freeze. I froze. I was so sick. I was so tired, and I was actually genuinely scared this time. I had a bad gut feeling. Suddenly both buildings started to rumble, and an Australian Hercules, Army Hercules, flew over both towers at an extremely low altitude. The buildings all rumbled. This happened at about 11 o'clock during the day. Then between 30 and 50 of the Chinese plasterers got up in the middle of the day, walked off the site, never came back again. They were obviously 451 visas, acting CCP militants infiltrating our soil. I'll finish this story very quickly because I want to move on. Now, it wasn't long after this building got buzzed, I saw the most bizarre display of behaviour amongst all workers in this area. I saw the most homosexual, kind of flirty, girly behaviour in blokes. I saw everybody just laughing. Everybody felt a little bit dreamy, including myself, but I was aware of what was going on. I was aware that we were under some kind of experimentation. Anyway, the Chinese backed off into their corner, so that was that sorted. And then I was immediately stalked by crazy people. I was monitored by the CAT team, Crisis Assessment Team, who deal with mental health. They were coming to my house every day. They were calling me up every day. They sounded nervous, they sounded panicked, they sounded shaky. Now I'm just going to check the camera's still on. They wouldn't leave me alone. Then I started to notice weirdos popping up on my Facebook and all these UFO Flat Earther Society pages coming up on my Facebook, and then these weirdos I actually started to stalk me when I was on Smoko at Barry Drive, ANU Apartments. They used to come over and say some bullshit to me while I was eating a sandwich in my car in the CSIRO car park that I was allowed to park in. So then we got the job done there. I wasn't needed anymore, so I was fired. I moved on. I still occasionally see some of these Chinese people to this day off on the roadhouses, work in the roadhouses. They remember me. I feel threatened by them as soon as we meet up again. There were a lot of them. There were 100 of them. So what I wanted to finish on that topic was lost my head. Can't think. The buildings that they worked on, all of the Chinese gyp rockers, I know of at least 12 recalls. Major construction, multi-level